Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas.
What's funny about your brother? Your brother talks more shit than anybody else on the planet. They're trying to sue people when people talk shit. There's people out there saying they're fake fights, they're fixed.
For me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, of the weight difference, and, Joshua's a former, champion. And also, he's current.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt.
Once again, Jake Paul is at the center of controversy, facing claims that could threaten his boxing career. New allegations suggest Paul may have scripted some of his high-profile fights, including his blockbuster Netflix matchup against Anthony Joshua, with some corners of social media even claiming he and his brother face potential legal trouble over these claims. Promoters and officials have strongly denied that professional bouts can be prearranged without consequences, yet skepticism about Paul's legitimacy in the ring has reached a fever pitch. This marks a dramatic moment for someone whose past includes legal troubles, including an FBI raid on his Calabasas home. With these allegations circulating and his boxing credibility under intense scrutiny, many are now asking, could this be the end of Jake Paul's meteoric rise?
Agents have raided the Southern California home of YouTube star Jake Paul. Federal officials say the search was part of an investigation. Wendy Birch is in Calabasas with what we're learning tonight.
Sky 5 was overhead this morning as federal agents entered Jake Paul's Calabasas home located in this gated community off of Mulholland Highway. We counted close to 24 federal agents, some of them in tactical gear, entering the residence. Why they were here and what they were looking for, that remains unclear. The federal search warrant has been sealed and no one is...
For years, boxing analysts, former fighters, and promoters have questioned the legitimacy of Jake Paul's fights, well before the latest arrest rumors emerged. Critics point to carefully chosen opponents past their prime, unusual fight pacing, late knockouts, and contracts said to include restrictive clauses, suggesting that much of Paul's rise in the ring has felt more manufactured than earned.
I've always been curious about this because, you saw the Askren fight, we saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that, Jake had these fights fixed, and there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have paid me on all the money in the world.
Veteran voices in boxing have often noted that while Jake Paul brings significant attention and revenue to the sport, his matchups frequently avoid true competitive risk. This has fueled speculation that some outcomes may be structured to protect his brand rather than test real skill. As these doubts accumulate, each new controversy doesn't stand alone. It reinforces a growing perception that Paul's boxing career has been shaped more by optics, leverage, and control than by the unpredictable toughness that defines the sport.
If that Jake Paul fight was set up.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. If I say, Rampage, I'm going to pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you going to do? You're going to feel disrespected, number one. Right? That ain't enough money. For me to do that, I got to be willing to walk away for good. Something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off in the shade. Because
previously, the matchup between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul grabbed headlines for its intensity and drama. Rumors of a leaked script suggesting the fight may have been pre-planned sparked a frenzy online. Alleged audio recordings surfaced, claiming that key moments, like Tyson's apparent fatigue leading to Paul's knockout, were orchestrated.
In the United States is $1.3 million. Again, that's over the course of the person's entire life. Jake Paul earned 30 times that in one night. People talk about winners and losers, like Jake Paul.
After his win over Mike Tyson, Jake Paul shared his thoughts on his performance in the ring. Speaking with confidence, he noted that he didn't get much punched or hurt, highlighting his belief that he controlled the fight with minimal resistance. Many of his fans praised the statement as evidence of his skill and readiness to face high-profile opponents. However, critics were quick to challenge this view, pointing to the lack of real drama or danger in the bout, and questioning whether Tyson's performance made it a truly competitive contest.
Super Bowl.
Big as the Super Bowl. Big as the what?
Why was Mike wearing assless chaps though? In the
did that moment go viral with his cheeks out?
I don't know. It made my stomach hurt.
I was seeing
Why
it
did he
while
have
I was
underwear
ringside.
on?
He had a G-string on, is what he had.
I thought he was completely butt naked.
Nah, he looked like a stripper.
But yeah, biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. It was crazy when we talked about this. I told him you were gonna say some dumb shit. You did the right thing at the end.
The recent fight against Anthony Joshua drew similar scrutiny. Many commentators pointed to the stark contrast in experience, size, and pedigree between Paul and Joshua, often describing the matchup as more spectacle than sport. A YouTuber-turned boxer with a 12-1 record stepping into the ring against a former two-time world heavyweight champion with a history of elite competition created a lopsided perception. Critics argue that Paul was more of a cash-grab opponent than a legitimate challenge, reinforcing the idea that the event prioritized entertainment over true sporting competition.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the Dubois knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then he got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
No. How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over when he wants.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul is entering this fight with a level of confidence that has surprised even seasoned observers. Commentators have noted that he exudes a strong belief in his ability to meet the challenge and secure victory. Unlike some of his previous bouts, Paul is approaching this matchup with intense focus and determination. Analysts watching his preparation highlight that his mindset is just as important as his physical readiness, with his confidence reflecting a combination of both. This approach shows that he isn't underestimating the challenge of facing a former heavyweight champion. Instead, he sees it as a chance to prove himself on a global stage.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy.
However, Jake Paul's growing confidence in the boxing world has drawn skepticism from many experienced analysts. Critics argue that his belief in being able to challenge a fighter like Anthony Joshua may be overly optimistic.
Paul natural? No. I can say that with pretty certain confidence in that statement, mainly because, as you heard me mention, I know a lot of the people he trains with and I have heard things. Now let's give Jake the benefit of the doubt, right? He's able to restrain from the peer pressure that everyone's putting on him to hop on these certain compounds. Then that would be cool to train natural, do what he needs to do. But the thing is, his body composition has changed so much, his explosiveness, his power, and yes, that comes with training and time. But I find it very, very suspicious that for some reason, whenever a drug test gets brought up, for instance, when Fury wanted that in the contract, Jake Paul turns them down. So you should think to yourself, it's probably because he's not natural. Now I want to make it clear, I don't care whether Jake Paul is natural or not. There's so many people that aren't natural that are in combat sports. In fact, Tyron Woodley probably is also not natural. Everyone wants that little edge over their competition, and that's where drugs and anabolics come into play. There's certain compounds that are out there that just increase your explosiveness immensely, your recovery, so that you can stay in the same weight class, which is very important for combat sports, whether that's boxing, UFC, whatever type of combat sport you're doing. So that is why you guys have seen so much improvement from Jake Paul. Of course, he has a great circle around him, great trainers, great coaches, a great regimen, but definitely anabolics play a very fundamental role in that. They allow him to train as hard as he does. They allow him to increase his power and speed. And of course, when you think of those concepts, that's essentially the recipe.
Despite the controversies, there's significant money being wagered on this fight. The betting itself has become part of the debate surrounding the Paul versus Joshua matchup. Fans, casual bettors, and even some high-profile personalities have been placing bets, adding another layer to the discussion about whether this event is a legitimate sporting contest or more of a spectacle.
So do you think it's going to be real, this fight? Do you think it's actually... So you think that Jake Paul...
You couldn't fake it. You really think Anthony Joshua's going to put his whole livelihood on the line for Jake Paul?
No, I don't think it would.
So there you go. It's over when he wants it to be over.
There could be some kind of tacit agreement in the background.
How?
Where they have a handshake.
Then that's illegal. You're going to jail.
Exactly, it's illegal. That's what I was going to say.
So you can't.
Because it's not an exhibition.
No, it's a fight.
So
and people are betting on it. Big amounts of money.
So we're watching this. I'm flying out there next week to Miami to watch it. So I'm going out there. He's laughing. I'm getting some on. So it's all good. But it's like Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua, 6 foot. Was he 6'6"?
How about that?
Fucking, what is he, 16? What's 245 pounds?
He can't be a pound over 245.
What's
so
that in stone?
The best part, just on 17 stone or just under.
So Jake lost to Tommy Fury, and that's the one everyone keeps on. Do you think he's improved much since Tommy Fury?
Yeah, but do I think he's improved enough to make competitive? Unless I close my eyes and Josh is completely shot to bits, no.
Yeah, and so is the potential that Jake Paul, like, I know you keep saying no, I know you're right, but is there a world in which you see Jake Paul?
As rumors of a leaked script circulated, some boxers who faced Jake Paul came under scrutiny, with critics suggesting he may have compromised his legacy. Fans speculated that Tyson played along in the fight, potentially affecting his storied career by participating in a bout many viewed as staged.
Paul's script was fully leaked all the way down to the bow Jake did in round 8. This profile on X posted it anonymously one day before the fight, explaining everything before deleting it today. A fake script has been going around that said Mike Tyson will get KO'd in round 5, but that one was clearly not real or an older script. This will give you goosebumps. I'm just going to read you parts, but if you want to see the full script, I'll show you it at the end. Round 1, opening bell rings and Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, but slower than his prime. Round 2, Tyson comes alive, but his breathing grows heavier. Round 3, Paul gains confidence and lands a sharp right that stuns Tyson. That's exactly what happened. Then round 4 and 5, the fatigue sets in strong for Tyson and Jake is landing a bunch of hits. Round 6, Jake showboats, which is the tongue thing he did here. Then on round 7, Jake plays it safe to not KO Mike. And round 8 wins by decision and bows at the end. This is crazy. Subscribe if you want to read it yourself.
Observers noted unusual moments during Jake Paul's fights, including reported Tyson allegedly giving Paul whisper instructions, and referees seemingly signaling Paul to avoid certain actions. These instances added fuel to suspicions that some aspect of the fights may have been scripted or choreographed.
Versus Mike Tyson was 100% scripted. Mike Tyson repeatedly bit his boxing glove throughout the fight. When fights are scripted, fighters do weird gestures to signal that they're hurt. It's very possible Mike Tyson was biting on his glove to tell Jake Paul to calm down. Now, if that's not enough proof that this fight was scripted, in the middle of the fight, Mike Tyson is literally talking to Jake Paul while they are clinching. And in the middle of the fight, the referee told Jake Paul to stop measuring. For those of you who don't know, in boxing terms, measuring means that you're setting up for a knockout by seeing how far your opponent is with jab. The referee literally told Jake Paul to stop measuring, and before the fight, we see Mike Tyson and Jake Paul whispering stuff to each other. Mike Tyson biting on his gloves, whispering secrets to Jake Paul in the middle of the fight, and the referee literally telling Jake Paul to stop measuring during the fight. That should be enough proof.
Frank Smith has stirred new controversy surrounding the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight.
Say Anthony is ruining his legacy just by taking this fight. Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight? It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going in there to knock out Jake Paul.
Sorry, just to silence all the doubters here. You know, a lot of people saying this can't be real. You know, Anthony Joshua going in there, it must be an exhibition, or Anthony Joshua's going to it's going to be choreographed and Anthony's going to carry him through a couple of rounds. I know Anthony Joshua. Just to silence all those doubters, he's going to go in there to do a job, right?
It's 100% real. It's 100% real. People asking why is it 8 rounds, not 10? Because I don't think it goes past the first round. So it's, you know, regardless, it's quite irrelevant. I think he steps across the ring and knocks him out. You know, but we're in for a bit of fun and everyone's going to be tuning in.
It might not be fun for Jake Paul. I mean, it's serious entertainment, is it?
Yeah, 100%. You know, look, I agree with you. I accept Jake Paul is absolutely mental for doing this, and I don't think he quite realises. I think he's got people around him who actually are saying, you know, Anthony Joshua's chinny. He said it in interviews. It's quite wild, but you know, if that's the world he wants to live in, he'll find out on December 19th.
And Frank, to finish with, the plan is still sometime in 2026, AJ against Tyson Fury, and Turki Al-Sheikh's working on that, is he?
That's the fight we want to make. That's the fight we want to see. Look, we're all guilty of doing a lot of talking over the years and that not happening. So I don't want to talk too much, but that is definitely what we want to see in 2026. It's one of the biggest fights in the sport. And I'm very...
Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, has also responded to the scripting allegations, though some of his comments have sparked their own controversy.
Can't speak. Yeah, but it's obviously scripted, isn't it? I'm like, no. One, that's illegal. I mean, this is a professional contest. Two, we would never sign up to anything that's going to make AJ look bad or devalue him, lose rounds, go loads of rounds.
Do you think there's any world in which AJ pulls back, though?
Absolutely. He couldn't do that as a fighter. He would be incapable of going in there and holding back. I mean, I think the only thing that's a bit harsh is if Anthony Joshua doesn't knock him out in the first round, he should be ashamed of himself. Like, Brian, give us 2, like, or 3. Because if Jake does move, he can look after himself. It's not like he's just going to get one shot round the arm.
Is this the end of the Jake Paul era, or just another scandal he'll move past? Share your thoughts in the comments below.